different law enforcement agencies, and some of them were on the dark web, so it's a dark world out there, and so it- you know trying to open up on social media, has been one of those things where it's quite uh, interesting at the time because you're not really sure of where it's going to go, But like I tell people, and I remember posting a picture of Darth Vader in one of my posts many months ago, talking about, and I was able to caption it, and it said, "Your lack of vetting disturbs me," because there are a lot of bots out there. There's a lot of hackers. There's a lot of ill will, and there's people that I like to call them. In fact, I've already labeled them in the scripts. Uh, some of y'all that have been following me, know that I've been working on 3 different screenplays for the Light Warrior brand. Uh, and in there, you have, because the darkness is, granted, and I had someone ask me, well, who is the darkness, Brian? And I said, well, it's not a who, it's a what. And it's not just, you know, one person, it's more than one. That's the reason why I always say they or them,
And
because
it could
it's
be
just,
things too, right? Like
you know,
that check engine light is darkness.
yeah,
I know it's a light, but it's a dark light. It's one
yeah,
of those, man, get out of my
yeah,
dashboard. Why are you here?
yeah,
But it's different for everybody, and it depends on
yeah,
the time or the season.
yeah. Because,
Mother's Day, it's a positive for a lot of people. This year was the first one without my mom. I was walking into this very haphazard, like I don't know, apprehensive. I was planning for the good, but not knowing what to expect because those are one of those feelers that I don't have fine tuned yet. I don't know if you guys have lost a parent, but it's one of those things where I can't explain it. I always thought I understood loss, but a parent's different. And what I told people, and I'm sorry if this is upsetting to hear because I know it could be a trigger if you've lost somebody, but for me, my mom was my storyteller of those people that I loved above her. Like she was her grandma's girl, I was a grandma's girl, and it was like this traditional, habit in our family. The grandma spoils the first grandchild, and she's the favorite, whatever. And so all of the stories passed down of those people and all of that history went with her. And I think that loss sometimes can be just as bad. And you never know what it's going to hit. It could be Christmas, it could be your birthday, it could be really a positive day, or it could be Tuesday. I saw Brian Poindexter post about it today about grief hitting at any time. Guys, he posted about it. He put it out there, and people can go and ridicule him. I've seen people on LinkedIn put their little badge on that they made in their own basement because they don't give them out, I promise you, and said, hey, this doesn't belong here. But the reality is, I think it does. I've had people try to coach my team, people they didn't know I hired, people they didn't know I was coaching or helping build a coaching practice for them with, post food. And everybody said, hey, don't do that. Like, a bunch of people said it didn't belong on LinkedIn, but everybody I know who posts food does pretty well. Everybody I know on LinkedIn eats. Everybody I know on LinkedIn who works at corporate gets a free lunch once in a while, and that's a tax write-off, which makes it a business expense, right? And like our business expense, that's a tax rate. That is professional. If the government's going to give you your money back for it, you're not allowed to say it's not business related. I just need you to understand
Some
that.
people like me love snacks.
mm.
I love snacks. We all love snacks. Can I get a
Oh
clap
yeah.
for snacks? Are you guys awake? You hear us? Anybody else?
Oh yeah, I love snacks.
Can anybody hear?
I can. If you got snacks, I'm there. I'm leaving the house now.
Listen, but just be you, because this is what I will say. There will be bosses who don't like you having a LinkedIn presence.
Yeah,
I have heard professionals who are just sharing job openings within the organization they work for being told, hey, that's not your job, don't share our job post. I don't want to work for that boss. He's going to lay me off in 2 years because he doesn't understand how business works. But don't you want to know that? Don't you want to know that's the organization you work for that's going to come try to be hall monitors of your personal page? That's yours. They didn't create it for you.
Yep. True. Yeah, because you know.
So why should they
It's,
monitor it? And if they want to,
yeah.
I'm like, hey, listen, if we're doing 24-hour coverage, we need to up my pay. Because if I'm on the clock 24/7, you better pay accordingly.
Yeah.
That,
Pay me
that
while I
means
sleep.
power. All of a sudden, they don't want the power if they have to pay for it, right? You
Yeah.
can earn it. Don't give it to them,
Yeah.
please. And if you need to move silently, do that. But move away from people who try to control your life. You get one of them, and nobody gets to dictate it but you.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you mentioned earlier about parents, my wife knows this, and a few people I served in the military with know this. This will be the first time I've mentioned it. Uh, my sister called me. I was about 25, so this is 28 years ago. My sister called me from Florida, and she said, "Hey Brian, I'm here at a hospital in Jacksonville with Dad." And I'm like, "What?" It's like, "You found him?" I said, "You know, we've been looking for him ever since I was 13, and you and John were like 6 or 7." And she goes, "Yeah, I finally found him because somehow his new family was able to find me and reach out to me." And so, you know, she was like, "Well, do you want to talk to him?" And I said, "Yeah, I do want to talk to him." And so we talked on the phone. Um, he was in the hospital because he was dying of cancer. Uh, and the crazy part is, he was a smoker, but it wasn't lung cancer. You know, crazy. But anyway, uh, you know, I told him, you know, that I started bawling like a baby, you know, and started telling him, you know, that, hey, you know, I'm sorry. And he goes, "Why?" He said, "Why are you sorry?" I said, "I'm sorry because I was a bad child and I made you leave." And about 2 hours before he passed away, you know, I started feeling better about myself because after I told him that, he said, "No." He said, "No. You were the best son a father could ever have. It was all me." He said, "I wasn't ready to be the father that you needed. That's why I left." He said, "It had nothing to do with you. You were perfect." And it changed my life. You know, it was one of those things that changed my life, changed my outlook on life. You know, because people think that you know, oh well, I'm the problem. I'm the problem. No, you're not the problem. Think about it. You know, if somebody distanced themselves from you, then more than likely, probably 99% of the time, you know, it's going to be because they love you, but they don't feel worthy of that love. You know, and that's the way, you know, my dad was. You know, he didn't feel he was worthy to be a father, so that's why he left us. You
There's a
know.
lot of people, Brian, I love what you're saying, but I just want to remind you guys, some of us think when we lose 10 more pounds, then we'll go engage with society. When I get my hair re-dyed, then I can be appropriate to be in public. When I get the new haircut, I haven't had a haircut in a while. I've heard these things, right? But I'm going to be honest, the person who gave me the hug that I needed that one day in junior high, when it was a different day than being on the side of the road, I was in suicidal thoughts a lot back then. I got a hug from somebody. I don't remember what they were wearing. I don't remember what they said. I don't remember anything beyond they were there and they listened enough to know in the moment what I needed and they gave it to me, right? And I don't know what their why was, but I bet you it's because somebody didn't give them the hug they needed. And we all try to be so much for so many people that we get so busy with the details of doing that we forget to just stand there and look around the room who we're serving. Every Everybody I know, and I'd love to see your hands. Do you have a bad parent story? Like that moment where they failed you somehow, some way, they hurt your feelings, they didn't buy you the pony, they didn't show up to your event, they grounded you for something they should have understood and it was never your fault. They just didn't listen. They didn't hear you, right? I'm a mom, and I told my son, I am so sorry you were the draft. Like I was learning as I went, and I failed forward on that one, and I had no choice, and I did my best. But did I fail him 110%? For sure. I still do, right? I don't answer the phone sometimes. I miss the call or whatever, and it was like that moment he just wanted to talk to mom. I was loading the groceries out of the car. I still do it. But guys, the why? Am I doing it intentionally, right? If you're my child, this is what I tell you. Why did I do it? Was I mad at you, or did I have to load groceries and my phone wasn't ringing loud enough? If you start asking yourself, why are they gone? There's people who will tell me, listen, I'll disappear on you. Why? Because I have to go inside and do some self-reflecting before I'm available for the public. Okay, what's the time frame? Right? Because me, I don't want you to not be my friend and tell me what I did wrong. And do you hate me? It could be 12 hours. If you haven't messaged, and we usually message every 12 hours, I'm going to go, oh, we're not friends anymore. What'd I do? I said something. It's because I want everybody to love me. And that's because I was always seeking love as a child. And I know this. Gabe's laughing because he knows. I'll text him, like, so what are you doing? You don't love me anymore? Where'd you go? Got a new coach. What happened? It's not true. But I own it and I'm transparent about it. So when he's like, hey, listen, no, I'm going to be busy all week with my friends and I got a date and I got a this and I got a girlfriend and I got my show. Look, I know it's not me. But if I didn't have good communication with people I cared about or vice versa, then how are they feeling? How am I feeling? If there's no communication, is it misunderstood? Don't let that be it, right? We have to be accountable. If you miss somebody, tell them. If you're mad they haven't reached out to you, have you reached out to them?
I'm just gonna say, yeah, because then you just go and assume you haven't heard back from them. You just start assuming all the things.
Can I actually? I don't even know if he's available, but can I ask Gabe to come up because I know he shared publicly a story about reaching out, and I think it would be a profound thing to share if he's available. And if not, he could just message me if I can share directly. But it was something where it happened by happenstance. I was making my circles, and I actually caught him in hiding on a day that he hides often. And I don't know if he can share. I'm sure he'll let me know. But I would love for him to do it or write about it, Gabe, and tag Brian so people can follow up because I know you've talked about it. But it's those moments where you're like, hey, I wonder what's up with my friend. Let me check in. And then all of a sudden, there was something, right? Have you ever been there where you've checked in with somebody because you just thought, maybe I should give them a call, and then they're going through a really rough time?
Yep.
Can you be the light for somebody? Even if you're in your darkness, can you go make somebody else's day brighter? Because usually it's addictive, right, guys? Is that it's kind of a selfish thing? The more you serve, the better you feel.
But at the same time, that yeah, at the same time, hello. Oh, can you hear me? Okay. Uh, yeah. At the same time, it's not really selfish, because it feeds, it feeds upon itself, you know, it, like in the morning, I get up, look in the mirror, I do my, I guess you call it my Sean Connery James Bond routine. It's not as good as his, but it's okay. But it makes me laugh, you know, and that's how I start my day, by being silly to myself, and showing myself that, you know, it's a good day. I woke up. I seen the sunrise. I seen my loved ones, and that's what people need to realize. Is that the sun will always rise. Even if the next day starts with storms, behind those storms, the sun's already starting to rise over the horizon. It's coming. You
Was it
know.
Dr. Angelou who said every storm runs out of rain?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
It
Yep.
can't last forever, guys. I live in the
Yep.
Pacific Northwest, and trust me, we get sun. Believe it or not, there are sunny days. It's true. It
Yep.
does run out. But it's what are you doing during the meantime? Because honestly, let's talk about just like clouds. I did this week, but storms, we all face them. We all go through happenstances where atmosphere turns up the world around us. And how do you deal with it? Because you could be sad it's raining. You could, go into your feels about the sunshine never being there and how dreary it is. Or you could go, you know what, this is great. Let me get my favorite sweater. Let me get my favorite blanket. Let me go ahead and make that hot cocoa and read that book I've been meaning to read. This is the perfect opportunity. And it's perspective. It's how do you shift out of it? I had a house fire where my child was in an ambulance in front of me. They wouldn't let me in. I just carried her down the stairs, covered in smoke. Like, really, it was a rough day. And in that moment, I was still able to find gratitude for the red jacket that some stranger put on my shoulders and how warm it was and how grateful I was just to have that jacket in the moment. And it was maybe a little nuts, right? Like Joker smiling throughout the chaos. But at the same time, guys, I instead of spiraling, I anchored into gratitude. And my daughter's fine. I'm not saying that's what we got it, but I could have went really far to the other side without, maybe even exceeding what I needed to because she's fine.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's mindset, I think. And if you can't do it alone, do it with a friend. That guy brought me a jacket. I wasn't alone in that day. Somebody reached out to me in my moment
Yep.
and just picked me up and said, "You need this. Let me hand it to you. No question." It didn't even ask me if I needed it. Just draped it kind of over my shoulders, right? Can we be that for each other?
For a lot of people, you have to experience something to know your gratitude too. Like for me, I grew up, I would say like low middle class, so I didn't have really like a rough background. My parents worked hard, so they were able to provide for me. Had a relatively well blessed background growing up. However, in college, I got a chance to take a trip to Indonesia. If you've ever been over there, poverty is just ridiculous. Of course, you can even go places. I'm in Texas, so downtown Dallas, downtown Houston, San Antonio. There's a lot of places you can go and see the tons of homeless people. But I've seen homeless in Texas, and I've seen homeless in Indonesia, and it's two completely different things to see the living circumstances they have. So a lot of times, gratitude is just something simple as in like, do I have a roof over my head? Do I have a vehicle that I can drive? Do I I woke up today. Like that's simple. Like I can breathe air right now. I've shared through LinkedIn in the past that I had an emergency. I had a pulmonary embolism for no reason whatsoever. That's blood clots in your lungs. For those of you listening that don't know, I was 30, 31. I was young. I was healthy. I'm like 160 pounds. I work out. I'm athletic. Like there should be no reason why I had a pulmonary embolism, but I did. So just something simple for me, like that's the first thing I'm grateful for when I wake up. I can breathe. There's oxygen flowing in my lungs. I can take a deep breath. Like so, sometimes you have to just experience certain things to be able to get gratitude. And if you need help with that, let me know. I mean, I can probably run through a list. Can you turn on your water? And A, does your water run? And B, can you drink it? Like that simple stuff that
Yeah.
other people don't.
Listen, sometimes you're grateful for the pain. It means you're not dead yet, right? Like literally, I wake up and go, "Oh, my hip!
Yep.
Yay, me! Yay! We're gonna get this worked out." But honestly, I think the power of gratitude is huge. And sometimes we just need to do simple tasks. Sometimes it's really hard to even just get out of bed, right?
Yep.
So maybe that's the first box. I opened my eyes. You don't even have to see out of them. Did they open? Yay!
And that's why I say gratitude makes for a great attitude.
Right.
Yep.
And
That's
then you
very
build
true.
on that. Okay, so I got to sit up, or I got to wake up this morning. Can I sit up? Like, hey, I can sit up on my own. That's huge. There are, and you gotta be very small, micro gratitude to start sometimes. But when you train your
Yep.
brain to be grateful, it's amazing.
Yep.
Today, I'm gonna have 2 hours
Great.
without power. I can tell you right now, I'm really grateful for the fact that my laptop's charged, but I'm looking at my phone going, uh oh. So, right. I am
Yeah.
super grateful that my phone will charge in my car with my laptop working the same way. Uh, but it's the little things in life, guys. So I don't know. Can we just like maybe open it up to say hi to our friends before we go? I would love to say hi to some of these people.
Yeah. Anybody want to come up?
And I have a quote I want to share too before
Ooh,
we
let's
leave.
do that before we have Gabe come up.
You can go bring him up, bring him up, bring him
Oh,
up. Raise that hand back,
ready to
Gabe.
go.
I'll share this quote real quick. Um, and it's there's no contributing author. It's just something I thought of. So it just says like even something I thought of. Even the dullest of lights in the darkness can seem like the brightest star in a galaxy. So
Very
just
true.
think about that as you are joining the light warriors, being a light warrior yourself. Like think about the galaxy as we imagine it. It's dark. One star can make a whole bunch of difference.
Guys, sometimes very simple, and which, by the way, the attribution is Hunter. He doesn't know this as a teacher, which is great. But that's the guy we should give attribution to there. But the thing is you can do something as simple as make eye contact and smile and just hold it for a count of 3. People glance away so quickly. People don't look at you. People don't feel seen. And so if you can take the time to just say, I love that color shirt, it's something that it's not super personal, but you can still give them something to go, wow, at least my shirt looks nice today. They might feel like trash, but they know their shirt is envied by somebody, right? So
Yeah.
small lights. I dig it.
Yeah.
Hi, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe.
What's up, Gabe? Welcome.
Hey guys, so it felt like I put my head down on the desk and they say lift your head up and then you put your head back down again when they tell you put your head down. Because I was like, oh gosh. Okay.
Heads up, 7 up.
Heads up. Hi. I come through to say hi. I mean, there's so many other cool people down here in the audience. I don't know if anybody else can talk, but yeah, I was going to say, first of all, love what you guys are talking about. Had to miss the first half. I was busy again with this thing called work. This wish I didn't have to put up with, but yeah. No, I mean, a lot of what you guys have talked about and kind of what Melissa has shared as well. I mean, these are the things that have drawn me to individuals like her. It's the reason why I started working with her in the first place. Trust me, I've had plenty of conversations in over 4.5 years of being on LinkedIn actively. I could have worked with tons of coaches. Honestly, I've had conversations with tons and tons of them. I mean, I got video logs of these things, but it was something about the way that she communicated that did it for me, that connected. So
I yell at him.
I
Don't
get
let
that
him
too.
fight.
That too. Because most of them are, yeah, let's do this. Like, we'll work with you. And she's like, It's like when your grandma tells you, don't sit on the couch with your feet. You don't put your feet on the couch. You sit like a regular person. So that was the whole reason why I was like, okay, cool. Let's do this. So I'm pretty sure that she's had that with many other people down in the audience. So glad that
Gabe, what I love about you though is he's a light bringer, guys. He's not like, I don't know if he's official because Brian, to be honest, I don't even know who's in the tribe. I just know they show up and they make me smile. But what I do like about Gabe is he's authentic and he is somebody who's had to take breaks and he's talked about it openly because of like mental burnout. There's a lot of life happening. He did. Like the king of video, or was before his hiatus, and that's how I met him. Is I have my show, I had somebody on, and he's like, "Oh, Gabe was my mentor." But when I met Gabe, he was on a sabbatical. He was going through divorce. He was taking a break from all these shows. He's about to come back, but he's somebody who highlights so many others all the time. And so I just wanted to say that's the only reason I wanted to pick him up and dust him off is because I saw what he's doing for those around him, and that's something I really valued. So I wanted to tell you that, buddy, because I haven't told you that this week.
Oh, Now you make look. Now I'm in my feels. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say except wow.
It's okay, Gabe. It's okay.
It's
good.
totally fine.
Yep.
It's all good for real. No, just to be honest, again, I love people who get the opportunity to do this. I haven't always been the best at being able to, I don't know, communicate some of these the way that other people do and collaborate with the way that other people do. So it's one of the things that I'm learning as well because I feel people have so much to offer, and I love it when I see like 1, 2, 3 people here talking and sharing their own journeys. And it's one of the things about myself that I love it. Melissa's doing this as well. She's opening up about her own journey. We love highlighting people. I do. I love spending time talking about others, bringing others into a different view of themselves. But how often do we do it for ourselves? So I love that she's sharing her own story out there into the world because it's pretty important to hear. I think people can take a lot from what she's had to share.
Yeah, it is. Very, very true. Speaking of, did y'all hear what happened this past weekend? Did y'all hear? I got nominated to be a hotness unleasher. Holy Toledo! That is so awesome.
I was there. I saw that live.
I was like,
Hotness
wow.
Unleashers, guys, if you don't know who that is, you got to go over to Trevor Van Worden. He's a guy. It's like super cool. Met him in real life. I've met him, hugged him twice. Just so you know. He's a genuine cat who came on LinkedIn last summer and decided he just wanted to be friends with everybody. If you saw him on the playground, I always describe him as a kid who's kind of holding his jeans up that he's going to grow into because mom likes to budget. He's got a baseball cap on. It's kind of always leaning up towards the sky a little bit more than maybe most people. And he's super excited to talk about it. He's one of my favorite people on LinkedIn. You can tell him I talked about him. He's in a sales convention or he'd be here right now. I know.
I always imagine he smells like cupcakes. That's just my own thing, but you know.
He didn't have a scent. I can't tell you that like, he's got a distinguishable scent. But we were in a coffee shop, so to be fair, that fresh espresso might have like masked the smell. But no, he seems clean. Like I'll say that he seems like he wasn't a dirty kid at school.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. That's true.
But yeah.
Melissa's going to time out. No, but okay. So when he's done,
put your head down back on the.
Let's go back to.
But
he does this show where he highlights everybody. He brings a few friends on the stage, and they're supposed to highlight their, 4 or 5 favorite people, and the number keeps fluctuating up and down. But he did 2 seasons of it now. He just launched the 2nd season, and Brian was nominated as a hotness unleasher, which means somebody out there thought Brian was bringing that heat on LinkedIn, and he got highlighted for it.
And I want to thank someone in the audience for nominating me through the show, and that would be our very own Henry Miller. Henry Miller is, not only is he someone that I can consider a brother as far as from the military and veteran aspect. And that's part of the reason why me and the wife started Light Warriors for Life is because we lost one of our brothers 2 weeks before Christmas. He didn't get to spend Christmas with his wife and kids because he felt alone, and seeing my wife cry because that was her NCO. That was her NCO. And then 2 days before Christmas, a 12-year-old child on the East Coast, and I looked at the wife and I said, we have to do better. We have to be better. We can save them all, because, like the King of Rohan, granted, in the movie, when he said this line to Gandalf, it was because his son died in combat. But I can tell you right now, having been in the abyss, having stared into the eyes of the darkness, that it is combat because you're fighting for your very life. You're fighting for your light. And, like I said, the King of Rohan looked at Gandalf and said, no parent should ever have to bury their child. And I will say this, and people cannot like me. Good. But you're going to hear it. A child that takes their own life, that extinguishes their light, that's not a failure of their parents. That's not a failure of me. That's not a failure of you. That is a failure of all of us. And,
It goes back to that saying, right? Sorry to interject, but it takes a village to raise a child. I heard that from grandparents growing up, and I was like, whatever, right? Like, it didn't ever resonate with me until I was a mom who had a teenager who was driving me freaking batty. And he would go to the rest of the family and kind of do whatever he was doing, and without them pushing back and being that village that would say, listen, that's your mother, those are the rules, that's your responsibility, that's accountability, whatever it is. Without that, he could have been lost. And I think that's true for society as a whole. We have to be the village for the kids because the parents have to work. And we're asking parents to work 2 and 3 jobs now to support themselves in a lot of situations and circumstances. And those kids are paying the price.
Yep.
They're lonely. They're hungry. They're angry. They're tired. Nobody's taking care of them. And those kids then have to go into the workforce, and they still have nobody looking out for them because now they're grown-ups and they need to go out. And it's even more, right? Because now you got all of that same battle, but pay rent too.
Yep.
And then you have a boss maybe that's not kind, and then you got all of that on the back end. You could see how quickly this can snowball. And the kids who were picked on the playground are here on LinkedIn now. Some of them are bullies, some of them are the recipients. But if you can be that one kind friend, it changes a lot.
Yep.
A lot. You need one best friend to not feel alone, right? And so who can you adopt? Who can you just reach out to and go, man, you know what, your content's so cool, we should just be friendly so you know you're not alone and you're motivating something. Because it can be that simple as a thank you.
Yep.
Something so simple. Just a quick message, I watch your content, thank you for being you, don't give up, keep going.
Very true. Very true. People talk about, and the words to me that I hear a lot have become hollow to me, and that's be a good human. Those words to me, they seem hollow, especially when people talk about, well, look at the evolution of man. Okay, well, so are we done? Are we done? No, we're not done. We can still evolve. We can evolve from a good human to a great human. Everyone has the ability to become a great human, to evolve.
Stay learning, right? Stay learning and improve yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be science-based. Like, who do you want to be when you grow up, and are you done?
I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. Who's got snacks?
Like,
who's got snacks?
That's what I want to do.
If you got snacks, I'm there.
Well, Randy's got the snacks. Like, I still dream about her singing Marshmallow Bars, and now LinkedIn's hiding her from me because I was too big a fan or something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But
anyway, listen, guys.
Yeah.
Is there anybody who needs to be heard? DM us. Raise your hand right now. You want to talk? This is the time. I always got moved at the end of church when they're like, okay, anybody who wants to talk, or anybody who wants to accept, or anybody. But it's the same thing. When you're ready to accept that change, whatever that change may be, you have to step into it when you're motivated, because you're not going to do it otherwise. If you hesitate on the top of the diving board, you're not going to jump. You're going to climb back down. But if you just jump in when you're feeling it, if you just go full throttle and don't slow down towards the end of that board and you just go, you're going to get it accomplished, right? There's that action that creates success. And so just jump into it, whatever it is, privately, openly, we're here. Don't be alone.
And if you
Don't be
ever,
hungry either.
Don't be hungry, and I'm gonna be everybody's best friend here. So if you want to reach out to me, you can. I'll be your best friend.
He's really cool. He's got all the fun tools and everything. And he'll
Yeah.
record you and make you into like fun little sound bites.
Oh yeah, I recorded it on Saturday. So well, not all of it, just a lot of her. So
Good. I still haven't heard it though. I don't.
and if you ever, and if you ever have, hello, oh yeah, and if you ever, just if you feel, then stop for a minute. Stop. One of the things having an analytical mind. One of my things is sometimes I can go 150 mile an hour in 5 different directions. And people are like, "Whoa, dude, what are you doing?" so so what I have to do is I have to stop, breathe, and then think. And when you think, when you get to the think part, this is what I have done, in my life. Whenever somebody, whenever I feel that my worth and my value is less than what it actually is, stop, and the darkness can hear you. You don't have to say this out loud. You can say this mentally. That's one of the aspects I've created into the creation of the character for the films, is that he can hear you regardless of whether you use your voice or not. But if you need to, use your voice and say, "I have value. I have worth. I am a warrior for the light." And believe it or not, for me, it makes me feel better. Because I hear the value. I hear the worth, being said either out loud or when I say it mentally, when I'm in the grocery store or something. It because you can always hear in your mind's eye when you speak to yourself. And so that helps me out, um, I I'm just trying to help, people, realize that they have value, they have worth, because everybody, we're all human, after all, we're all human. We all have value, we all have worth.
Very unique voice too, Brian. Like that's the one thing. Is I know you're struggling at times because I can tell you're emotionally attached to this, and I just want you to know that's what I love, is you're willing to just jump in and do what you need to do to get it done for those people. And so I wanted to say that to you. We appreciate you. I do have a call in 15 minutes and my bladder's mad, and if you've ever been on a show, you know what that means. I had
Yeah, and I think I ran over my time. LinkedIn will probably put me in a corner now.
They won't, but your friends are going to wonder. They're going to be like, "So how long are we supposed to stay before we can run? And how rude is it to go?" And
Yeah, just whenever you gotta, hey,
or two, anyways.
yeah, we're all, this is an open forum, and it's you got things to do. Real life happens.
Like,
You
thanks
know.
for putting this together, Brian, and
Oh,
thanks
yeah.
for reaching out to us to co-host with you.
Thank you,
It's definitely
thank you,
definitely been a pleasure.
yeah, and thank you very
My
much
only
for.
regret is I didn't get to.
okay,
I was just gonna say my only regret is I didn't get to record Brian trying to say skeptical.
oh hush,
That would have been.
oh,
Hey, but if it makes somebody laugh, if it makes somebody laugh and
Listen.
smile, it's all worth it.
Brian, you should see Gabe. Like his cat comes in while he's going live and like moves his light. He drops the whole webcam falls over or whatever. It's so great, and he's over here talking about skeptical. Yeah, we're done.
It's funny. Plus, you said something a minute ago that was a lyric to a song, so now it's stuck in my head, so I'm going to go listen to that too. Okay.
And here's impact. That's
All
how
right,
you know
well-
it worked. I gotta go, guys. Thank you so
Okay,
much for
thank
coming.
y'all very
If
much.
Can we come off, please? I would love to know you.
Yep, reach out.
Okay.
Do it. Reach out.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
And thank y'all very much for being on the show. Thank you
Thanks,
very
Mark.
much.
Bye.
Love y'all.
Keep doing you. Bye.
All right. Bye.